Alrighty, we are back with another algorithm, Anthony. Can you believe it? Yes, this is the unage restricted version, so you can leave a comment and leave a like if you like. And if you don't like, then don't leave a like. Makes sense to me. Right, so I decided to go and have a look at HackerRank for this episode. And yes, I know I've solved the puzzle already, but give me a break. It's just to speed things along, because these hacker ranks, I won't lie to you, can be quite detailed and involve a lot of reading. So let's jump right into it. Plus minus. Right, given an array of integers, calculate the ratios of its elements that are positive, negative, and 0. Print the decimal value of each fraction on a new line with six places after the decimal. Note, this challenge introduces precision problems. The test cases are scaled to 6 decimal places, though answers with absolute error something are acceptable. I know what you're thinking. That's a relief. So if you didn't quite understand what I read there, right? So it's really important to understand what you need to do. So sometimes it is tricky. So some people may have understood what they have to do, some people not. But like they have a lovely little example here in case the comprehension piece is a bit incomprehensible. So in this example they have an array. So in this array, I think the key is that we need to keep track of the negatives and positives and the zeros, right? Calculate the ratios of elements between positive, negative, and 0. Okay, and we need to round off 6 decimal places, right? So we know that the number of elements is n, so basically n amount of times. So we know the length of this array is 5. So 5 elements, 2 positive, 2 negatives, and 1 0. The ratios are the following. So you can see with the positives, there's 2 positives so over the length of the array equals that. Okay, cool. So we kind of know what we have to do, right? So we can calculate the length of the array. That shouldn't be a problem. But we need to also have variables to keep track of these positives and negatives. All right. So this is kind of the script they give us. I think, yeah. For me, I normally just ignore everything else and just focus what I have to do. Alright, so here we are. We have to write our code over here. Right. So we'd be given an array now. So let's, so we said we need to kind of keep track of how many negatives and how many positives we have, as well as how many zeros, numbers we have in this array. Right. So let's make some variables. So we can set it negative equals 0. So we're just going to give it a, so we know that there could be no negatives, so let's keep going. Positive equals 0, cool, and then 0. Sorry. See what happens when you try to rush things, eh? Make silly mistakes like that. Okay, 0, and then so we need to know the array length, so we can also go like this and say length equals array.length, because that's what we get from the function up here. Awesome. Right, so now what we have to do now, we're going to have to loop through this array. I'm going to use a for loop because it's important to kind of get comfortable with the silly fundamentals. So I'm going to say x, I equals 0, and we're going to say if I is less than r.length, and if all is good, then we're just going to increment this little guy, and now we need to go to the main function, right? So so we know that it's looping through this array, so we need to kind of do a comparison of some sort and then add it. If we have a match, we can just add it to the negative or positive. So I can throw a bunch of if statements here, which is quite nice, but first we need to kind of know what number we're trying to compare it to, right? So I'm going to make const over here, number to compare equals r at the ith increment, right? So you see the I keeps track, you see that all of the matches, and so now we can throw out if statements, right? So we can say number compare to, number to compare is equal to 0. Then we can kind of just say 0 equals plus plus. I believe that's a little sexy little shorthand for you guys, so we can kind of copy this because it's very similar now. So just still be aware, you can make mistakes even though you think you're being clever. So we can also say when number compared to when it's less than 0, so it'll be the negative, so we can add our negative variable and we can increment that. Yeah, it's still positive, so we need to keep track of it so it won't go down, it won't decrement. And the last one is if it's more than 0. So then we have our positive guy, right. And then, so we know that after all those checks, you're going to have the, how do you say, the count of how many positives, negatives, and whatnot, right? So after the end of this loop, after the end of this for loop, we're going to have these values all populated with numbers, and now we need to do the actual calculation of dividing it by the length of the array, and we need a console log it, which is what they told us to do, I believe. Yeah, print the decimal places, yeah, so we just need to print them out. So let's do that. Alright, so console.log, and so we can, what's nice about console.log, you can kind of do calculations within it, right? So I want to say positive equals, so we're going to like take positive, yeah, got that right? And then we're going to divide it by the array length. Sorry guys, these naming conventions are important. Let me just put that as array length. It's a bit, yeah, length is just a bit too generic for me. Cool, so I'm going to call that array length, and now I'm just going to, yeah, so the thing is we need to also sort it out if it's decimal placing, right? It's funny because I've been working for a while on, like, you know, in this kind of algorithm stuff. Never use the toFixed, right? So the toFixed is a function that's kind of an extension, right? It comes from the number prototype. So if you have a number, you should be able to use this toFixed function. And in these examples, yeah, they're making this function, receive a number, and then after that they're going to pass float. And then, yeah, so they just, I think this pass float makes sure it's a number, right? I may need to double check that. Okay, don't quote me on that one, right? So number and post, so they're trying to set the decimal place to the second decimal, right? This is kind of what they're doing. Lovely. Alright, so let's use the toFixed in this example, alright? So, because these guys are going to be like very wonky lengths of array, right? They might be too long or too short, so, okay, we're going to just say, so after this calculation is done, we're going to get a number, and then we want to get it to be fixed. Ooh, what did I do? No. To fixed, I don't know why it's trying to tell me what to do here. To the 6th decimal, which is what we want. I'm just gonna copy this little sucker. Yeah, I still need to do the other guys though. Oh dear. You know, you try to be quick. Alright, sorry guys. Let me just speed this up. Allez, quand même. Come on, algorithm Anthony. I should be able to do this right. Okay, cool. And then, so we need to also figure out for the negative. Cool. Right. And then we're going to get the zeros. The zeros we're going to have count. Right. So hopefully, I see a problem. I think I added too many. So I added too many parentheses here. All right, cool. So we got a function. So let's go through it again. Alright, so we've got our variables that get set to 0 by default. We just kind of kept to the length of the other array just to make things readable. I should just, isn't this, can I do it like this? Yeah, that should work, that should be fine. Okay, and then I grab the number 2 that we're going to be comparing if it's a positive value in this array, if it's a positive or 0 value or negative. We do our checks, we return and increment that number. From there we console log with the toFixed. Alright, so let's submit the code. Hopefully everything runs fine. Alright. Everything has failed. Okay, wow. Alright. I didn't see this one coming. Alright, why are you not happy? Let's take a look, see. Okay, we are doing that. Let's see. Okay, hang on, let me just revert that array.length. Maybe it's not happy with that. Should be fine though, but like let's run that code. Okay, the runtime error. Okay, it's not happening with toFixed. This is good, this is good. Alright, see what happens when I rush things around. Okay, so toFixed. What's wrong with toFixed? Let's see. Well, I'm probably gonna have to pause the video now. Okay, now I'm gonna struggle through it. So it's not happy with which one are you not happy with? Runtime error, toFixed. Positive is not defined. So it doesn't know what positive is. Okay, oh, because it's probably it's out of scope. Is that out of scope? Can we do that? It's in scope though. I'm surprised it's complaining. But it's saying that it doesn't know what this is yet. Ah, dear Tony Tosi. Hang on guys, sorry guys. Let me do that. Okay. Are we happy now? Alright, let's run this code now. Is it processing? And it's still a problem, alright. Okay, positive is not defined. It's telling me what the problem is, I'm just ignoring it. Positive, right? Yeah. I think this, oh my goodness me, that's the bloody problem, isn't it? It's the wrong code. We've done it. Alright, let's submit this code. Whew, that was a close one, guys. All green, baby. Unlock hidden test. Oh, yes, please. Yeah, see, okay, so that was HackerRank for you, man. Totally pooped my pants when that was going wrong. But thanks guys for joining. Yeah, catch you next time. Keep learning and stay safe. Ciao.